You may have played poker, but playing poker in Texas is a different animal. This is the Texas Poker Podcast with Tyler and Clint.
Hello, this is the Texas Poker Podcast. I'm Tyler. This is Clint.
What's up, y'all?
And we are back with episode 61.
Episode 61. So, Tyler, we are recording pretty early this week.
Yeah, I say we played a session together, but we haven't played many because we had to record early this week because I hear you're going to Vegas actually this week.
Yeah, it's I can't wait for the trip. It's going to be a lot of fun trip. We're going to be going to the WSOP. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to kind of go over my whole plans and the casinos and the tournaments, which aren't that many. But did you want to cover, like, our session first?
Yeah, I was about to say, we might as well cover our Dogghouse session because mine was uneventful and you left before me, so.
So, and actually, the Dogghouse, how I did that session, actually Vegas kind of was a prelude to. It kind of influenced some of my decisions. So, yeah, let's do that first, and then we'll kind of go over the coming trip.
I guess I'll get into my first hand. It was that ace-10 hand whenever I first sat down at your table, and I raised pre-flop to, I think it was 20. I got called by you and one other player.
Okay, I don't remember this hand at all, but okay, let's go with that.
You will as soon as and then the flop came ace, 8, 10. I bet he raised. I called, and then I went all in on the turn. He called, and I flopped 2 pair. He flopped a worse 2 pair.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I do remember this. So I was like, thank God I got out of this. Yeah, it was Yeah, talk about a major. I mean, nice to be on the right side of a cooler once in a while. Because, I mean, a better 2 pair versus a worse 2 pair, it just kind of is what it is. Very nice to kind of get that going your way every now and then.
Absolutely. I mean, I know you had a hand similar to this one, but it's kind of like on those coolers, it would be nicer if it was deeper because he did just get stacked pretty good in that bomb pot beforehand.
Oh, yeah, that always hurts. I mean, yeah, because don't get me wrong, it's nice to be on the nice side of a cooler, but God, you definitely wish you were deeper with it.
It's also nice to be on the wrong side of a cooler when you're super short or they're super short.
That's happened to me several times. I will say it's nice to, yeah. I'm trying to not let myself get super short. If you've noticed, like when I'm at the table and I get past a certain amount, I've been adding on a lot. So because I want to start playing a little bit deeper than my average. But you're right. And those times where it's right before you add on or whatever, that's a great feeling.
Right, an absolute miracle it feels like. But yeah, I made $80 there. And then I switched tables because they said that they wanted to play 2 hands of PLO, and I kind of wanted to play PLO because of the vlog we were talking about earlier in the week. I ended up being so tired I didn't record any hands. I did not play any interesting hands. I kept getting 10-5 offsuit over and over again. I was like, well, this is just not great. I flopped a set of threes. Oh, sorry, I turned a set. So the flop. So
now this set of threes. This is no limit, right?
Yes, this is no limit. So I pocket threes. Someone made it like 15 pre-flop. Of course, like everybody calls when it's 15 pre-flop. The flop comes 9, Jack, Queen, 2 rainbow.
9 Jack, Queen, rainbow.
It checks around. I turn a 3, bringing in a backdoor spade draw. But I have, a set. So I bet 15, get it, heads up. The river brings in the backdoor flush.
Hold on, I'm very confused. So you bet 15 on the turn on this board with a flush draw? Because, I mean, if it was 15 all the way around, This must have been a tiny bet in the pot, right?
It was, yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was getting the amounts right.
It was one of the ones where I wanted action, I thought, because it just checked around so quick. And if the pre-flop raiser's not betting this board, what board is he betting?
How many people were in this hand? I think this is...
I mean, so many. Like, maybe like 6.
So we're looking at a $75 pot, and you bet 15 into it?
Yes. Everyone folded but one.
Okay. I mean, it just seems like such a weird play knowing your play style. And, well, one is, this hand is so weird because for this to be 6 ways on a queen, jack, 9, and to get checked around is just kind of weird because it's such a such a wet board.
Well, and the 15 is to where if I get raised, I can evaluate and either think about re-raising or calling, right? Because it's kind of a slow play, right, with the pocket 3s here.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely a slow play,
Yeah.
100%. Okay.
So I get a heads up. The guy, the river brings in a 5 of spades. So now the board is 9 of spades, queen of hearts. What would it be? Sorry, 9, jack, queen. So it was 9 of hearts, 9 of spades, queen of hearts, jack of diamonds, 3 of spades, 5 of spades. So the backdoor flush comes in. I bet 30. He raises to 100.
You know, I know what you do here, and God almighty, this is just so weirdly played. I don't know. Well, you okay? Tell everybody what you did and how this played out. So, and because before I give my analysis, so it's not just spoiling it.
Right. So I actually folded this hand. My reasoning was, one, what is raising me on the river here when the flush comes in, and he could have flopped a straight with king 10 or 8-10, right? And he would have slow played it like that. Is what I was thinking. And then afterward, I told him, I said, I hope you had a really good hand there, because I had a really good hand that I folded. And he said, oh, I had a queen deuce, but I backdoored into the spades.
That would be consistent with how this hand went. This is a good fold. I think this is a very good fold by you. I don't know what he's ever raising with that beats you. I think I just call here now. Give it, like, I know I said I think I fold the same way you did, but like now listening to how the went is once you bet 15 on the turn and check the flop, your hand is just so under-repped here. But again, re-raised river bluffs are very rare in live poker, so almost guaranteed you are beat here. This is such a weird spot you're in.
And part of the reason for the $15 bet is you want to keep the draws in there for a super cheap price and let them draw. I mean, I know I should have probably charged more than that, but you let them take a shot at their equity even though they're drawing thin. But then when they hit, you need to fold, right?
Well, wouldn't that be the reason to bet more, to charge them more to draw?
Right, but he would have called with his exact hand, but I thought he had something weaker.
Oh, I mean, yeah. If he has queen deuce of spades, then it ceases to matter. Like, I mean, if anything, you saved a ton of money the way you played it. But I mean, I'm not being results oriented here. It seemed, but here's the other thing: is if you know he has that exact hand on the turn.
Oh, you like pot it. I mean,
okay, that's kind of what I was. That's where I was kind of lost at.
I thought he might have like a 9.
Okay, so you just really put everybody as so weak.
It was just an instant check around the table. No one showed any interest or even thought about it. So I thought it was just going to be me bet 15 and might everyone just fold. I mean, as soon as I bet 15, everyone folded, but one guy almost snap folds.
God, I don't know. Well, like on a board this wet, because I mean, you might get calls from like jack. Like a jack would probably check this board. A 10 might be drawing and just check this board. I'm not like I don't. No, don't get me wrong. I don't think a queen should be checking this board. I mean, well, in all honesty, that's a very weak queen. It's actually probably not a bad check by him, actually. But I think the fold on the river is really, really good. I think that was a very disciplined fold. So it's like I say, I think it's tough the way the hand played out. Like the way the hand played out, I'm not sure if I'm capable of making that fold, but I think it was the right fold.
Well, and then I have this hand that not such a disciplined fold. I get pocket kings. I make it like 20 pre-flop, get it heads up. The flop comes ace high, all diamonds.
You have a diamond?
No.
Okay.
I check, he checks. The turn is like a brick. I check, he checks. The river brings in like just like an 8. I check, he bets like 75. And I was like, well, this could just be a missed diamond. This could be a pair just less than an ace, thinking that it's winning. It was the guy I called with pocket 9s pre-flop all in.
I think this is a snap call.
Yeah, I called. He went runner straight.
Yeah, I mean,
But-
I don't know. Because, I mean, he wouldn't play. He would have tried to get value with a flop flush way before then. I don't know that I wouldn't expect a single diamond to play this way. I would expect a single diamond to bet the flop and then the turn and then maybe shut down the river. I wouldn't expect an ace to play this way, which means I don't know. There's got to be there when nothing kind of makes sense. I don't know the way that if he runs into a straight and it plays out that way, I think that's perfectly fine. I think that I think that's a snap call for me. Well, I don't know how much 75 was into the pot. I guess I should ask that.
I think it was. It might have been just over pot. Because if I made it 20, I think it might have been like 50 in the pot.
Ooh, that is a little suspect there. Yeah, I don't know. Now I might actually be folding this. I did not realize it was over pot, but I would say I'm pretty suspicious here.
It was a pretty big bet, but after it played out how it did, I just felt like there has to be a time where I'm good, where he might just be either overvaluing because he thinks I have nothing, or is bluffing at versus a player I know is capable of bluffing.
I think with a player you know is capable of bluffing, I think. Because it seems like an ace would have been betting at some point, like the turn, to protect it from other diamonds, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't mind this call. This is, the way this played out, it seems like this is very much a call here.
So those are like my two big hand. Well, I guess I had a bigger hand when I got kicked out with no money. But I played a bomb pot hand, which I was telling you about, which I'll just kind of go over briefly just because I know these can be so hard to tag along with just the audio. But the moral of the story is I had a pair on one board and flop top 2 on the other. But the problem was on the other board I had just one pair. There was also 2 queens. So the guy was blasting off, right? And it was heads up. But my board where I had 2 pair ran out to where like a ton of straights hit and the flush hit. But I called like 125 on the turn before the flush got there. So I ended up folding the river whenever he basically put me all in. Because I was like, I could be getting free rolled. If he has a queen and just any 2 clubs, I automatically lose, right?
Right.
So I fold. He shows, like, look, I had the winner. I have the best hand. He had like bottom 2 on my board and just a queen.
See, like, I remember you texting me this late at night, and you said you got bluffed out of a bomb pot, and I don't consider that getting bluffed out of a bomb pot. If you're paying off there, then you're just paying off way too light, because you're basically calling to win. When someone bets a bomb pot, and you really only can win one, which, unless this guy's way out to lunch, he's got at least one board wrapped up. Then when someone bets 200, well, now you got to call 200 just to get your 200 back. and then you're splitting half the pot. So your equity is just so low that this is not really getting bluffed out of a bomb pot. This is, like I said, if you call this, then you just don't need to be playing bomb pots. I mean, that's just the way this played out. This guy had way more equity on both boards. Because, I mean, he had the trips and 2-pair, which is way harder to lose to. So, I don't know. I thought that now, here's where I think, you said it was like, you flopped, I think, 9-4.
Yes.
9-4, what was the other card?
3. I had top 2, but it was like a crummy top 2.
So here is the problem here with a hand like this. When you have very little equity on the other board, and we were talking about this when we were going over the hand, this might just be a fold. And not because you don't think you're good, but because if this pot inflates, there's almost, outside of a 9 and a 4 hitting, your hand is just going to get horribly shitty on this board. Because it's going to either become overcards, which makes your 2-pair less valuable. I think you said there was a flush draw.
Yes, there was.
So there's going to be there's also the flush draw able to hit. And then, let's say it's not overcards. Those are almost all those cards make a straight of some sort. So this is kind of one of those hands that it might be way too nitty, but I think this might just be a fold on the flop.
Well, I mean, you're right. I didn't make it to showdown, so.
Yeah, so I mean, I definitely know this. I don't know if it should be a fold on the flop. Definitely was a great fold whenever you folded, because I mean, you definitely don't need to be paying this off. So I thought that was. I mean, like I say, that's way too results oriented to think I would have chopped half the pot. Like I say, if you're paying this off, then bomb pots, you're just going to get killed in the long run.
And then, so now I'm back to being short stacked, and now I'm tilted beyond belief because I went from being up, about to leave, then the tables combine, but I was going to leave before the tables combined. Now I wanted to play, now that we actually have a decent game going. So now after those, 3 hands, now I'm down. I'm like, great. And then, this led to a tilted bad call. I had Jack 10 suited in a 3-bet pot 4 ways. So I was like, after I saw a bunch of people call, I was like, maybe I can call this.
Jack 10 suited?
Yeah, but I mean, here's the issue. I'm just way too short to be calling this. I don't have nearly the right implied odds. I mean, as far as I believe.
Yeah, that's. I mean, how much was the 3-bet too?
I made it 30, and then the other person made it 130, and it went call.
130, and how much do you have behind?
See, after I called it, I only had maybe 280, 270. After I called.
I'm not certain that would keep me from it. My big problem would be getting just scared of just being dominant. If someone has aces, kings, or queens, this is a disaster.
I mean, someone had ace jack. I mean,
yeah, and I was about to say ace jack, king jack suited, queen jack suited.
I mean, never good when you're hoping to flop a straight. I mean,
that's kind of the problem. Is this hand is just so easily dominated in a 3-bet pot. I mean, I don't know how deep you'd have to be to justify it, but it's got to be so deep, and at that point, you got to be ready to fold a lot of jacks that you hit.
Well, the flop came ace king high, so I was like, "Wow, that ain't it." But this is definitely one where I think just boredom and card deadness got the best of me. Whenever all you see is 10-5 offsuit, which I saw just so many times, and you've already had to fold your set, your kings got cracked. This was one that just, I guess the boredom got the better of me, the tilt got the better of me. Make the loose call. I make the call in my head knowing it's a bad call, right? I mean, I know it's not the correct move. Do it anyway. Instantly get punished. I'm like, phenomenal. Exactly what I deserve. And then now I'm down to $230. And So I lost that hand. Spoiler. But I mean, I folded the flop.
It sounded like that's what it was leading to.
Yeah. If anyone needed any clarification on that one, so I fold. I'm now annoyed because I'm now even more tilted because I made the wrong move, knowing it's the wrong move. Like, so basically, I probably should have gone home right there, which led to this hand.
Oh God.
Right. This is when the wheels completely fall off. Like I always say, if you're looking for a reason to go home, poker will hook you up. You'll be in that car quick. So I button straddle. I'm like, no one is raising. I was like, dude, this game needs like, I mean, I feel like I can make some moves here. Like, no one's folding. Everyone's limping. Well, I guess not everyone. No one's folding. Like, everyone's playing very passive. I was like, I think I could maybe start trying to build a stack if I play this $260 more aggressive. Maybe.
Okay.
I button straddle with the intent to do something if I have a half decent hand. I get 10-7 suited. Not great, especially being short again. The whole table limps. I make it 48 to go. Everyone folds with the last player. He calls. The flop, I flop to open-ended. So it's 9, I have the 10, Jack, Queen with a flush draw. Not my flush draw. I had a backdoor flush draw, but irrelevant. So after I made it 40, whatever, I have like $200 and maybe $10 left in a $100 pot. He checks it. I just go all in, hoping to get folds, and then, obviously semi-bluffing here. And it's a disaster, really. He has Jack Deuce suited, so he has a pair and a flush draw. And, pair holds.
Yeah, I don't know. This is a tough. The pre-flop, I mean, you definitely don't need to squeeze here, but I think you already. It was one of those with that. I think after the flop, this hand kind of plays itself. I mean, if you are going to squeeze with 10-7 and you flop open-ended, and that person flops a flush draw with a pair, like we talked about it, and I thought the 2 times a pot bet was a little bit much. But in this hand, it kind of ceases to matter because we talked about it and like, well, you could bet 75 and the guy fold for the same thing. But if you bet 75 and the guy calls, well, you're pot stuck. You're so pot stuck that no matter what the turn is, you're pretty much there anyway. So, like I say, I don't know. This hand, is a little bit of a pre-flop blunder, but after that, it just kind of plays itself. And I'm not sure. I 10-7 suited, not the worst by any means. When it's straddled and it's slumped around and you're looking for a hand to make a move, it's not the worst. I've seen both of us do worse shit than this. So
100%.
Yeah, I think it was one of those that it's kind of, in hindsight, looks bad, but it's also because you flopped open-ended. You got a flop that hit both people, and it hit one better.
Yeah. Well, but that's the hand that led me to the car. So, kind of a disappointing session to where it was more of a just bad play till, I guess. I don't know. Just really just fell apart there. So.
Me and you talk about it all the time because winning poker is not that difficult at the low limits. It's not like you have to be a savant or anything, but it's really the discipline of getting when we get bored and everything. You've seen me have multiple sessions where I was card dead and I was losing my mind. So I think the boredness and tilt is way harder to overcome than the actual strategy of poker.
I know, absolutely. I was just hoping for a suited connector. Please, anything.
Yeah, oh yeah. But trust me, I've completely been there. And when you are in those sessions, 10-7 suited looks like a damn monster.
And the other thing is, I was so I was playing so tight just because I was getting no cards. I literally fell asleep in my chair. Not a joke. Literally, had to wake up from my chair.
Well, I think this is also a strategy thing. It's we always think about like, well, the flop. How do you play a draw like top pair? How far do you take it? Are you stacking top pair? Trying not to stack off, but just as important. I mean, we are kind of forced because we wanted to have some content for the podcast, but you look like you were about to die that night, and probably playing poker when you are that tired, when you're that hungry, when you're just like uncomfortable, like super uncomfortable in any way. I will say for me, it's never led to good things.
I mean, I was up for over 24 hours, and when I went home, I slept for over 13.
Yeah.
So that kind of puts in perspective how I was feeling.
So I think that might be actually the biggest thing. Well, not to mention when your card dead. I mean, granted, I don't care how good you feel. When your card dead, it sucks. But when you're tired, it's way worse. So I think that might be the lesson to learn from that session. Maybe is just being able to put it off to another day. And for me and you, that's kind of tough sometimes. But I think for someone who isn't forced to on any given day, maybe choosing a better day is the lesson there.
And I also knew that you had the Vegas trip coming. So if I don't play that session, we have no session to talk about, which really led to me going there. Because no way would I ever go there. I mean, I was so tired driving there. So, I mean, for sure I had no business playing, but
yeah. Oh, trust me. You're preaching to the choir because you look like shit. My session there was very swingy. I went to I got into a flip with Jack. Did I have Ace King or did I pocket Jacks? I don't remember. I had one of them. It was Jacks versus Ace King. I was on the loser. Hit on that. And I was down about 200. Came back. I got aces versus kings, but it was the person was kind of short stacked for like $90. I did have one interesting hand, which was about 7 hands at the end of towards the end of the session. I get ace queen. I raise. It's called two ways. The flop is ace 9-3 rainbow.
I mean, I'm betting this like I'm good. I'm betting this like I'm good unless I'm told otherwise.
So it checks to me. There's a pre-flop raiser. This is obviously a flop I love and scared of nothing. So there's about, I think, 70 in the pot. I down bet to 20 because I'm scared of absolutely nothing here. There's no draws. There's no straight draws. There's no flush draws. So my biggest thing is to get someone to call to build this pot up a little bit.
My thought with this hand was I thought you were going to say you were going to bet bigger because people aren't going to fold top pair crummy kicker, which is why I thought you were going to bet closer to 40, 50.
That's probably a very good observation. I don't know if that's... Me and you've talked about it, and we've kind of gone back and forth. I will down bet on boards where I have top pair. It's harder for someone to have it, and it's a super dry board. And a big reason is it allows me to down bet and sometimes take these boards away on the cheap. Because, I'm going to have it sometimes.
Here's my thought, though. On a board where I have an ace, in games that players are not... who are playing too wide, we'll leave it at that, right? They're playing all the aces they get. So if I had top pair with a king, like ace king, but it came king high, then I would like the down bet. But when it comes ace high, I like the size up on this board just because I know players who are playing ace 3 offsuit because they're praying to God they hit an ace aren't folding.
That's fair. I mean, that's completely fair on that one. And in that instance, I think you definitely should. Because I'm kind of mixing it up here and there. It's kind of on this, I wanted to keep like maybe 10s, 8s, or something like that in there. A bigger bet might be better on this board. I'm not certain, but I will say on some of these dry boards I have taken, where I'm not scared of much, do take this line sometimes. Probably not the most profitable. Definitely not the most profitable if I'm up against another ace. I will say that. One player folds. Another player re-raises me. He check raises me to 75.
Here's also the problem when you bet that small. When you get raised here, it could be someone trying to make a move thinking that you're weak. I feel like you have to call here, right?
I did call here, and this is the reason I wanted to address this hand, is me and you are pretty adamant that if you get low-limit poker, if you get re-raised on the flop on dry boards, just fold it because there's a set so often.
We say 99% of the time. I'm hoping this is the 1% where you win.
No, we're hoping. But the way I felt, and I think against average to below average players, really you should be folding here. This person had a good grasp of the game, and I felt that he read my down bet as weakness, which I have had happen by good players quite a bit. I make the call fairly quickly. I don't think there's much to debate here. I think I'm too strong to fold this easily to a player who I believe could be attacking me. The turn kind of connects the board a little bit. It goes check, check. He checks it. I'm a little nervous now. I think once he checks it, I think I'm good. But I also don't want to face a check raise. I mean, double check raise, and now I just got to let my hand go. So, and I'm in position, so for the river, I can kind of see what he's going to do. Well, the river connects the board pretty well. It's very connected. I don't love it. He checks again, though. And I'm very certain I'm good at this point. And I bet 50, trying to get any squeakle like a really crappy ace to call. And he lets it go. Which, I mean, I could tell, basically he was just making a move and had nothing.
I thought he was going to check raise you on the river again. I was going to say, oh, disaster.
That would have been a disaster, because I didn't really have to go for value there, but... and I think if I do get raised there, I definitely have to fold. But it definitely comes in... I wanted to bring up that hand, because it comes into play that, 99% of the time, you should be folding here, but there are good... I've noticed good... not average players, but good players, when you down bet, sometimes will read it as weakness and pounce on it.
But that's also the counterplay to down betting.
Right.
So that's kind of something. So if people know that that's how you're supposed to counter that, that's what they should be doing.
Exactly. And a lot of times I will be. Because like I say, I down bet this board here because on an ace high board that's unconnected, when I don't have it, and I bet it. Sometimes I don't have it, and these down bets will get through because it's just an ace high board. Nobody really wants to go against that, so which makes it kind of profitable. So, but that was kind of that session. After that wrapped up, I came back from being $250 down to up $80. Knew I was going to be leaving for Vegas this week, and granted, and you want to talk about super nitty. Just decided to go ahead and take my $80 profit and call it good and use it for Vegas.
Absolutely. I guess we better get into that Vegas trip.
Definitely. So I will be leaving. Well, when everybody hears this podcast, I'll be in Vegas.
Yeah, you'll be wrapping it up.
Okay, so I will be leaving. I'm going to use dates just so it's less confusing. June 3rd, which is in our day right now, is tomorrow at around 5 o'clock. I'll go there. I'm staying at Bally's, and at Bally's where the WSOP is going on. We'll be doing the housewarming event at Bally's. From there on, it's kind of up in the air. I'll be there for about 8 days. I do know this. I'll be playing a lot of cash. Probably at most of the casinos I really like. Aria, Wynn, Bellagio. the others, I'm going to look and see. And so in Vegas, there's two different types of casinos usually. There's one where there's a $5 max rake, and there are no promos, but they don't rake the $2 promo jackpot. And there's ones that take a $5 max rake and take $2 also out of the hand. If they rake the extra promo, I don't mind it, as long as it's like something like you make quads, you make something you have a legitimate chance of hitting. A lot of them I've noticed will use the added promo rake, and it will go towards like free rolls for people who have enough hours for like that month. Which basically all you're doing is taking money from the tourist, $2 a hand, and giving it to the regs. I mean, if I was in Vegas and I was a reg, I would love that crap, and I would play a lot at those places. But taking $2 out of my hands that I get no benefit from, I have to watch out. So I do know Aria, Wynn, and Bellagio don't do that because they don't have promos. So I'll have to kind of see on the cash games where I end up. I'm sure I'll end up at the Orleans. I like their room a lot. Golden Nugget. So, I mean, all the ones I really enjoy. Tournaments, I'm going to do the housewarming for sure. And it will depend. Some of the Aria Classic Series I really like. Some of the Orleans tournaments I like. I don't think I'll do another WSOP event, but I'll just kind of see and play that one by ear. I'd like to do one or two more tournaments.
If you make a super deep run in a tournament, for the podcast, I'd like to see you go play 5, 10, 20.
Okay, well, we can all like to see something, right? I mean, we all have our dreams, right?
I mean, if you win like 5,000, 10,000 in a tournament, you wouldn't take a shot?
At 5, 10, what would the
buy-in's 1,500 max.
buy-in's 1,500?
At Bellagio, at least.
Okay, I will say this. If I win 10,000 plus, I'll go take a shot at 5, 10.
We'll be waiting with bated breath.
And I'm gonna, like, I also have to decide, like, I'll play 1-3. The 2-5, I did not find, I did very well in the 2-5, but I think I was running fairly decent too. I find it to be a kind of a grindy, tough game.
I had no fun at the 2-5 games when I went. I had way more fun at the 1-3 and 5, 10, 20.
Yeah, it's a lot of aggression, a lot of well-timed aggression, so I'll probably give it a shot here and there when I'm there. But like I say, it kind of depends. I'll have to see how the trip goes and go. But I mean, I love going there, and I love the couple days before Vegas where I am kind of mapping everything out and just being like, well, I can do this or this, and it's like I say, the poker is probably better in Texas. I don't think the poker is the best in Vegas, but there's something about playing in Vegas, about the fun of the energy of Vegas, an entire town basically wrapped around gambling and poker, that you can't replicate anywhere else in the world.
Oh man, I mean, it's exciting. I mean, I wish I could go, but someone's got to work.
Well, this time that person is you. So, but I guess we can wrap this up.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, we'll have a lot to talk about when you come back, but right now, when we both only played one session, meh. No, I mean, this was we never even covered your World Series of Poker on Club GG, but I know you made a really deep run in that main event.
Did we not cover that last podcast?
We were supposed to cover it right now, but then you jumped right into it. I never even stopped you. Do you want to touch on it, then we'll close it out?
So, me and Tyler have been playing on this Club GG app. It's like the app like Poker Bros, not the website. It's $50 a month, and you get all these satellites. So, you win. The Stage 1 events are very quick, and you get a Stage 2 ticket, which is basically a sit and go. But only one person takes home that ticket. So, and then you get a final stage ticket, where if you win an entry into like a major tournament. Sometimes it's WSOP, sometimes it's Mid-States. This past Sunday ended up, it was a main a seat. There were 3 seats being given away. Was it 3 or 5?
5, yeah.
It was 5 seats being given away to the WSOP main event. $10,000 buy-in. 5 of them. Enter and whittle my way down. I think there were like 600 people in that tournament. I whittle my way down to 18th to go past all those people. End up with getting it all in with pocket kings versus pocket jacks and see a jack on the flop and to torch my dreams of going to the main event. But it was a super deep run. It was a lot of fun. But God, I wish I would have hit it.
Yeah, well, I guess on that note, this concludes the Texas Poker Podcast. We'll talk to you next week.
That was the Texas Poker Podcast. Go ahead and rack up, add time, and we'll see you next week.